welcome our panel to the stage, who are going to be taking you through that vision of 2030 in the kingdom. Please welcome Mohammed Alawi, the chairman of the board for Azad Properties, May Kanunji, the CEO of Blooming, Robert Spendins, head of Hyper and Marketplace Nana, and our moderator, Amir Aliboui, the chief marketing officer of Tim Hortons Middle East, back to the stage for his second session of the day. We're working you hard, aren't we? We are working you too hard. Thank you very much, and enjoy the session. When we get your pictures in the magazine.
I think it's correct, yeah.
No, it's correct.
I mean there.
So we have to go here?
Yeah.
Shall I sit on the opposite end?
Roberts, do you want to come into that one there?
Sure. Sounds good. I feel more comfortable sitting next to you. Let's begin. So good afternoon, everyone. I hope you've had another cup of coffee. Next time it'll be Tim Hortons coffee and not hotel coffee. I'm glad to be hosting this panel, and what's really interesting about this topic and this panel today is the fact that we're talking about the transformation under Vision 2030. And when a transformation that's pretty dramatic happens, there's a lot that comes out of it. And there's a lot of teething factors as well. Luckily for you, everyone on stage either lives in the kingdom or has recently moved to the kingdom. So from that perspective, it'll be very valuable to get their insights and their thoughts on the different questions that we'll be talking about. May, Mohammed, and Roberts, welcome to the stage and welcome to this panel.
Thank you.
Let's kick off. So Vision 2030, it's been a couple of years. There's a lot happening. It's very fluid. It's very dynamic. I think it's still too early to tell the real impact because there's so much to learn every single day, every single week, and every single month. But that's what keeps it interesting as well. And with that, there's many, many opportunities. So my first question, which is to Mohammed, is this transformation that we continue to witness has been an eye-opener to say the least, and has made brands and corporates realize that either we're strong, maybe we're weak, there are definitely opportunities, and possibly threats. Could you shed some light on this on behalf of your business and your domain?
First of all, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Amir. I have to say the whole philosophy of Vision 2030 is not just the number. People, they keep just monitoring the change in the number, inflations, what you call it, unemployment rate, I don't think. I think it's bigger and it's more than that. It's about changing the philosophy of the people, changing the philosophy of the country, changing the structure of the economy, changing of the behavior of the people, and even changing a lot of some misunderstand about this country abroad. So we have a big change in the term of the tourism sector, which will be impact in the flow to the country. It will be impact on the economy of the country. And Saudis, I think, in the last report in the G20, number 4, grow worldwide in terms of the number of the tourists to the country, which does big things. I personally, I don't recall whenever I do what you call it, customer analysis for our malls, the ratio of resident and Saudi is almost 90-95, and 5% is different from people who. Today, if you do a customer profile for any mall in the country, Jeddah, Riyadh, at least you'll find 80 to 20, and this number is growing. What does this mean? This means we have to also think differently. You've been to Dubai Mall here, you'll find the Chinese language on the signage, you find the Russian language on the signage. One day this is going to be happening in Saudi, is the number. We start opening what we call it, currency, the international currency exchange inside the mall, because in the past nobody used to come to change money inside the mall. This is happening in the two holy cities, Mecca and Medina. So the big change happening in this country, I think it will be naive to measure it today or tomorrow. It will be measured in the next 10 years. Definitely, the criteria, the indication, the KPI the government put it shows there is big improvement in change. Number one, government move smarter, faster than the private sector. 3 lines. Before we used to complain about government are slow, government don't change laws. Laws now change on a monthly or yearly according to the need of the business. Give you example, labor law. If somebody count how many change since 2016 today, at least, if I'm not wrong, 6 or 7 change in the labor law. In the past, maybe 20, 30 years, nothing changed. So they change, I think the last change is 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. So this is to show you government is observing what the investor, international investor coming to the country, local need for improving their business, and this is reflected in your business models. Used to have, example, 90 days, what you call it, probation period. Now it's 180 days probation period. Now you could recruit your family, you recruit your friend, you could to visit your country. So all this is changing to the country big scale picture. Many things happening when you go to away from the 3 major big cities, you go to the north or the south. There is a strategy for every region, and this strategies have pillars according. Country like a region like Abha has become a touristic destination. The government is pumping a lot of money on the infrastructure, new airport, they added on the, what we call it, the FIFA bid to have Abha and other 5 cities. What I want to say, definitely, Vision 23 will change the face of the business. It's totally will be different, and we keep observing that every day. Customer analysis change, people change, needs change, even the hotels and operator. Riyadh City, anybody could remember Riyadh City? I used to go to a hotel without reservation, just pump in, give me a room, if somebody remember that. Now you'll be lucky if you find a parking.
With like going online, you cannot find a place.
So that show you how this has affected business. Price-wise, I know 5-star hotel food used to be 800 riyal, and now it's 1,000, 2,000 riyal. So all changing, and we could see that in our life, and we feel it, especially when we do a mixed-use properties, hotels, shopping mall, and that. We could see that's all going in our visibility and things. And I have to admire, it's too early to judge, and it's too early to affect the Giga project and all what's happening in the country until we see it all reality. And let's hope, inshallah, everything going to the right things.
Thank you. And building on what you said, there's so much going on and so much happening that there's so many areas to spend on. So this leads me to my next question for May. May, you've been in Saudi and worked on big brands, established brands, and now you're the CEO of Blooming. My wife is a client of yours, and she always tells me, made with love, pride, and deep connections. I think it's on your website as well. I'm sure it's challenging in your domain, right? Because when people are spending more, value becomes more top of mind than it was before or 5 years ago. So tell me about your story linked to Vision 2030 and the transformation that you're witnessing with your business.
Of course, I totally agree with Muhammad. Vision 2030 is a huge change for Saudi Arabia. It's a transformation. This morning I was talking to our founder and the board member that Blooming shares this transformation across the last 8 years. Blooming, just for the audience who are not aware of the brand, because it's not yet in UAE, is a fashion retail brand for home apparel and lingerie, delivering comfort and quality to all our customers. And we are born proudly in Saudi Arabia. And guess what year? 2016, the year when 2030 vision was launched. And we share a huge part, and we have within our company values shared with the vision. First of all, empowering women. So we're not I've worked in companies, I've been in the region for the last 20 years, specifically in Saudi Arabia, where empowering women and having females in the leadership roles in the stores was a huge change. While with Blooming, from establishment in 2016, women were empowered in even our leadership roles. We have 50% of our senior managers and directors are ladies. Obviously, all our stores are 100% women. We have 85% of our workforce females. So we really, are aligned in terms of that with the vision where women are leading the innovation of the brand. You've mentioned threat. That was one of the strengths of Blooming. There is always a threat when there is a transformation, especially if you are not 100% ready. A threat that made everyone scared in the retail business when, the objectives of the vision were launched was the support that tourism, entertainment will get in the country. And retailers were really worried, how am I going to attract customers to my stores while now they are so busy with Riyadh season, Jeddah season, there are so many entertainment activities that will drive them not only outside of my store, but also outside of the mall. So at Blooming, we thought, what would attract customers to entertainment? It's the feeling, the fun, feeling happy, not the value there. It's more of the feeling. So we decided to invest more into the customer experience, making sure that we have the best-in-class staff in the stores to do the right customization and personalized journey with our customers. I'm so happy whenever I meet a customer of Blooming, they tell me, we love your staff. They love the staff, and then they take home the products, love it, and come back. So that's a threat that I think we build on it and move it into a strength.
Interesting, thank you. And very happy to know about your percentage of female ratios. A lot of us
we are very happy
talk
too.
it, you walk it. So fantastic. Robert, your category is becoming more cluttered and more competitive. But the rise of e-commerce at the same time is huge. And with the millennials and the Gen Z in Saudi, it's jumping and jumping. So how is the rise of e-commerce influencing the development of retail spaces in Saudi? And what are the strategies that are being implemented to integrate online and offline experiences at Nana?
Thank you for the question, Amer. First of all, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my first time in Dubai, and actually my journey in MENA region has started in Riyadh, which, as Amer just mentioned, I represent Nana, which is an e-grocery app. So my main knowledge in the MENA region comes in the e-grocery and aggregator food delivery service field. Changes are happening rapidly, as the colleague next to me mentioned. When I first came to Saudi Arabia 2 years ago, I was working for a Yango Tech, which is a big software company coming from Russia. And first shock we received was how come an e-commerce business is still running and cash operations? 20% of Nana's GMV 2 years ago was coming from cash. So 80% was online. So there was still a lot of people who were using these services first time, and they don't trust banks up to this day. And if you look fast forward 2 years now, it has reduced by 8%, which means things are changing. Regarding the strategies, I like the word you mentioned, integration. There's one aspect which I find very interesting in the e-commerce field is that a lot of companies are very open to integrate with other e-grocers as long as they bring revenue. In Nana, for example, apart from our customer application, we are partnered with 3 big aggregator companies. One is Jahez, Marsul, and Chefs, which is bringing us really good revenue. On the other hand, the department which I represent, the Hyper department, it's a scheduled delivery service for the customers, but we actually have a very close partnership with the Mimi Markets, which in traditional retail business in Saudi Arabia is a huge player. So what I like about the Mimi is that they were not following in everyone's footsteps. They didn't want to launch their app. What they are doing it in a smart way. They know that they can benefit from other e-grocery companies. So, for example, Nana, the way our partnership works with the Mimi is that we actually pick our items from Tamimi shelves, which is cost efficient for both parties. On the other hand, they have click and collect service, traditional offline customers. They supply groceries to other e-grocery players. So that necessarily doesn't mean you need to have your own application, but you can partner with a lot of companies, have an open market, and this is what I like about Tamimi. If you want to have a fresh example, it's an existing business in other countries, but there's an amazing project called Co-Kitchens, which is part of Jahes Group, one of the biggest aggregators in KSA currently. In terms of landscape and optimization of operations and the space in the city, Co-Kitchens basically have a dark kitchen model. So they, under one facility, they onboard approximately 35 to 40 restaurants, and they allocate 150 to 200 square meters for a co-shelving project, which is basically a shelf rental. So if you have any item you want to sell but you never done business, they will take care of the inventory. All you need to do is just bring them an item. They're going to take care of the operations and the delivery to customer, plus an pickup option for their customers, which means it's an amazing omnichannel strategy. You have more than 50 different companies running under one big facility, and it's approximately 600 square meters.
Interesting. Now I realize when I sometimes order from a new restaurant on an aggregator, and then I want to check the Google reviews or Google ratings, it doesn't exist because the retail doesn't exist, right? It's a cloud kitchen or a dark kitchen. But interesting. May, this question also applies to you, because I've been in Saudi for the past 23 years, and I've noticed fairly recently that e-commerce, especially in the fashion world, is rising, and I'm seeing lots of boxes branded Shein and Trenadol. Not to say that these brands compete with your brand, which is more premium in nature, but how is this transformation and evolution affecting your business, and how are you coping with it?
Yeah, of course, like we've all heard from this morning about the omnichannel experience, which is very important for retail. So I'm not going to talk more about that. I think all the panels have explored it. But at Blooming, we have done a more of a blended approach between online and offline. Because again, given the industry where we operate and the type of products that we sell, which are more intimate and related to women, we try to change the journey. Instead of having just online, different from offline and click and collect or whatever from the stores, we are now printing QR codes across the product displays, where women can scan the code, go to our app, and have the freedom of continuing the journey either on the application itself and having the convenience of receiving the product at their house, or continue in the store after getting all the benefits, looking at the video, because looking at the product on a model is definitely much better. So this blended approach reminds me a couple of years ago when we used to say people browse online and shop in stores. Today, people are browsing in the shops and finishing the journey online. So we wanted to capture that. We want them, while they are online, in the store, before they go home and change their mind, they can directly be converted into an online customer. You might ask me, like, how you're eating up from your sales in the stores, like it's your shooting yourself yourself. And what we did is actually we turned some of the stores to become fulfillment centers. And we're starting to put this culture within the sales team and the sales associate that online and offline, it's one business.
Correct.
If you deliver, if you have support in fulfilling the order for online, you will also be appraised for achieving the targets. So it's like one target. While many companies do this mistake of putting different targets for online and stores, we say omnichannel, but we don't do it across all the business units. So if we are talking omnichannel, it's one target, whether the app sold it through performance marketing or the app sold it through our sales associate, we're achieving what we want. So we try to do this omnichannel approach not only from a technical perspective or technology, but also through having the customers and the staff embedded within this journey.
Interesting. No, I like that. So it's a holistic journey, and within that journey, there's certain touch points, but they're all connected, ultimately. Interesting. Mohammed, question for you. So, how are shopping centers balancing the development of new retail spaces with the changing consumer preference for online shopping? What are the new concepts being introduced in the physical retail space to attract and retain customers?
If you look to the 10 years ago, the formula that we used to adopt in shopping mall is not anymore people they do it. People now they're talking about lifestyle. People now they're talking about experimental. People they adding the entertainment and technology in their offering. It's totally different. Rarely now you find these closed big malls. They're there, they will never add, but you cannot repeat it. There is some people maybe in Riyadh venues, they're going ahead with their big formula, but this is a different story because the planning of this project take quite long times. Now, first of all, tenant mix. We are not only targeting retailer, we are targeting retailer, lifestyle, hospitality, woman spa. Now people, they have a medical centers in their product. Ritzy Mall just now signed with Fiteh MC, a big unit for the medical center. Spa for men, gym for men, expensive car. If anybody visited via Riyadh, you'll find the expensive car shows room there. So it's variety, where people, they go for experience, as my colleagues May said. They try to see what's going on. Maybe some of them, they go try to examine this product and click and collect. By the way, even in Europe now, big department store, including Zara, they're questioning the concept of click and collect inside the store. That's not secret. And
true.
Some of the unit had been shut down. As my friend, he said here, and he's from the e-commerce side, I consider the relation between shopping mall or retailer property and retailer with our colleagues in the e-commerce. It's exactly like the old movie, if you remember, Sleeping with the Enemy. You need to sleep with your enemy in the end and come to the middle. E-commerce, omnichannels, all other units is a sort of tools. Retailer, they use it for or channel, they use it for business. Some of the business, the electronics example, went very well for them, the online. Some other business like the jewelry and the perfume is not that great so far. So we're going to test this formula. Second things after our tenant mix is how to make this journey is different from any other journey. People, they come to you, shop, eat, go to theaters, go to cinemas. If you have a very beautiful theaters now with all this entertainment, if you have times, you could go even some of the restaurants now, they do what they call it cuisine show, cooking for the people, children training how they do pizza or donuts. Now this is the experience, and after that you go to that store and buy. Today I was attending in the jury here for the startup. A gentleman from India, they have this, what they call it, men grooming. And I find this very interesting, the way he explained the journey of men grooming and how we do it, all these products and these things. That's something you do it. Now we find men grooming in malls and in luxury malls, by the way, and very expensive. So the journey is changing according to the dynamic. Our business is dynamic, their business is dynamic. We need to improve the journey, how to gather and how to make things. Give you an example. Before, we don't share the analysis for your footfall traffic. Now, by time, we keep asking them to pay what they call a turnover clause for their payment, and we show them with the sales and sales qualities and things happening. Give you one last example, so I don't take more time. Next to our mall in Jeddah, Ritzy Mall, there is a huge area it's called City Walk, open. And this is Jeddah season. And very crowded. And people, they go because crowded. Now, funny enough, everybody told me that you are in bad shape. I said, why? I said, this one will kill your business 2 months. Could you imagine that in the last 2 months where they opened, the sales of the food had jumped from 10 to 12, 60% in the mall. What happened? People, they go there, it's hot, it's an open space, it's hot weather, they enjoy entertainment there with children, come to the mall to eat in the good, cold weather. So we didn't suffer, they didn't suffer, and we both survive. Actually, the area become more stronger as a destination for traveler or for people. That's the other hotels next to us also. So it's win-win case together.
Interesting. I myself have noticed that when you go to a mall today in Saudi, there's something literally for everyone. Once upon a time, I didn't really know how to kill time for my kids. Now there's more for my kids than me in the mall. So I'm trying to like grab him, let's go home.
Cigar, we have to do for you a cigar.
Cigar lounge. I went to a cigar lounge in Via Riyadh, actually. So there's lots of interesting developments. Robert, consumer behavior and preference is changing in the Saudi market. And there's a lot of people coming to Saudi, right? Which eventually is going to change the landscape and the mindset. What trends are emerging and how are retailers adapting to meet these new demands?
First of all, for homegrown brands, I don't see any potential risk right now, because I'll give you an example as a foreigner. So I lived multiple years in UK. So once I started, visiting different retail stores in Riyadh, I was shocked. I was like, how come Sainsbury's is importing their products to KSA? And I felt like, I was satisfied, but I was not satisfied with the price I was seeing on the label. So I don't think that the homegrown companies like Nadek, Marai, Marami Chips, of course, they don't like the presence, right? Because eventually, if they don't do any changes, they will start losing their market share. And I see their products are adapting a bit, but at the end of the day, the logistics costs to export products to Saudi Arabia is very expensive. And you can see this if you go to Tamimi. That's why there's specific category of local people, they go to Al Othaim markets, Panda, because the prices are cheaper. People like me, I'm a target customer of Tamimi or Carrefour. But at the end of the day, I think as for the future, where the competition will get more intense, and it's probably going to be part of Vision 2030, is that a lot of these big companies, they'll just come to a conclusion that they, based on the population and the growing economy of Saudi Arabia, it makes sense to open their own facility in KSA to reduce operational costs and improve supply chain.
I'm already noticing in the past couple of years across different sectors in Saudi that there's a lot of consolidation in terms of mergers, in terms of acquisitions. But what's really interesting, at the same time that M&A is in full speed, you're still seeing new brands emerging and appearing, right? Both local and global. So it's a fascinating market. It's a fascinating time, to be very honest.
I just have one comment
Sure.
about the homegrown brand and their effect. I have to tell you, my friend, watch and be careful. The number of brand now, they start local, homegrown brand, interrupt the market, are really scary. If you go to the, we just was talking before that, if you go for the coffee beverage, 500,000 and Barney's, they disturb the market and disturb the margin and disturb everything. If you go to the burger, example, Signs Burger, Section B, there is, I could tell you 10, 20 names, they disturb the market and they disturb big brand from worldwide. If you go to perfume, Nash, and I think there is 100 brand of perfume, they disturb the market, their margin. That. So some people, they underestimate the local, what they could do. And I personally think the next future for retail property like us is the homegrown grown brand. And you will be surprised at that. By the way, even in Latin America, like Mexico and that, F&B, last report I think from ICC, it jumped from 11% of local F&B to 32 local F&B inside shopping mall. And they disturbed the market. Now, for how long they could survive, I don't know. Maybe this not apply in the grocery sector, I don't know. But definitely, homegrown brand, they are a disturber in the market, and watch it.
And it's a nice comment, thank you. When you talk about the food sector, yeah, I completely agree with you, 100%. I was just more highlighting about the e-grocery market, because, look, you know, Pringles and most of these snacks companies are owned by PepsiCo, right? And still, if you look at the local brands, right? The local brands are way cheaper. It's very easy to see the value difference. And people respect own brands, KSA brands. They love them. The price is amazing. But for the food sector, you're totally right.
And fashion sector, if you allow me, Amir, to jump into this debate, because I totally agree with our colleague Muhammad that homegrown brands are not only disturbers in the market, they're going to lead the market. I've worked with international brand in the past, Roberts, and usually when they come to Saudi Arabia, they think whatever worked in their home will work here in Saudi. And this is not the right way. Not because, you know, like they don't change their marketing calendar into the local marketing calendar. Nowadays, they're doing it. We're seeing Zara, H&M doing Ramadan windows, celebrating National Day. However, they don't know the details that we homegrown brands know about our customers. Do you know that there are 3 different phases of Ramadan? For customers, for consumers, when it comes to fashion. There are 3 different phases through which women, at least, pass through in the shopping during Ramadan month. And we, as Blooming, we have studied this, given that we have Saudi designers within our team based in Jeddah. So we are studying this. We are providing those products during these phases. There's a phase where she wants jalabiyas. There's a phase where she wants kaftan, she wants nightwear, she was Eid. Did you know that bridal shopping takes around 3 to 4 months for brides, and they go with their mothers, and they're expecting the shops where they go to support them in their bridal decisions. So we provided them with a checklist to remind them of what they need to buy. So those are things that will always put a competitive advantage of brands, homegrown brands over international brands. Yes, Amir, as you said, many value-driven brands are entering the market. Many marketplaces have, as you have mentioned, have entered already the market. And I know many retailers in a panic attack and trying to reduce their prices and do value-driven promotions. Till when? Can they do this infinitely? It will eat up all their margins and their profitability. But having the right brand value, something that customers are willing, because customers in Saudi Arabia, especially the younger generations that you are asking about, are willing to pay an extra premium for a value that they are getting, where the product is not only a price, it's also a multi-purpose product that they can wear in different occasions. It comes with the brand story. They are very proud of buying from this brand because of the values that are behind. So I think this is the great job that homegrown brands are doing, and I truly believe we will lead the future of retail.
To be honest, you answered the last question for me. My last question was for May, and the question was, how are brands ensuring that their products and environments resonate with local traditions, cultures, and values?
Local is very important. It's, whether you add it like, there is a rising trend globally, but specifically in our region, towards modest wear, leisure wear, embedding culture within your product or service offering as well. Customization is very important because, you know, as we are, there's so much noise around us. We still want to feel unique. So the Generation Z, for example, they're not buying anymore from the shops that my mom used to buy before. I remember 10, 15 years ago, you know, like brands used to be very comfortable. If there is a generation heritage, if my mom is buying from that brand, I will just follow. It's not anymore that case. They want this identity in what they are purchasing. And culture is very important. Marketing, branding is key. And I'm sure, Amir, you're well aware, given that you are a CMO, like local content and not just saying Arabic language to be used in marketing content. I'm saying like localize all your content, all your stories to resonate to to your customers and attract them to your brand so that they're not coming only for the price tag, they're coming for the story, they understand that it's relevant to them.
And just building on that, and I think we'll close with this, is the fact that because Saudi is becoming more international, more cosmopolitan, and more diverse, be it on a customer level or on a brand level, everyone are looking for relevant experiences. Once upon a time in the kingdom, I would only see lots of lights and glitter in Ramadan or Eid. Now when you go to the mall, you see the same level of lights and glitter in winter. Whether it correlates to Christmas or not, it's about celebrating festive occasions. And this is a very good habit that the North Americans have taught us. They celebrate every day, right? Father's Day, Mother's Day, Dog's Day. But thank you very much. It's been a very insightful session. We will close with that. Let's give a round of applause for our speakers.
Thank you.